And welcome to the Movie Madhouse. This is Rob.
This is James.
And this is Jason.
And we are together.
Yeah, I don't think they can see me. As long as they can hear me, that's all that matters.
Yeah, we've discovered that laptop might need to change.
Oh, Jason's playing
I don't know
statue.
what's happening. Something's happened here.
Oh, I think it's thinking about playing the video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll not worry about that. Hey, episode 350.
Right?
Like,
This was a pipe dream a billion years ago, and here we are. I can't tell you how proud I am of us.
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, you came in around what? The
First appearance was Thor Ragnarok. It was 200
200 something.
220-ish, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've been here since episode 5.
Yep.
So, wow. Wow.
Even Ballin says, "Hey, fellas."
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it just, we almost have enough episodes to listen to a different episode every day for a full year.
We technically do.
Yeah.
Because there was a period.
Viewing reviews.
Well, sometimes a view interview was counted as an episode,
Okay.
but we did a couple special episodes.
Right.
And there was that period where I did the Movie Madhouse Spotlight.
Right.
Those weren't.
Oh,
But
those.
you're not counting those.
No, those aren't counted
okay.
in.
You did one of those with Rochelle, didn't you? Early on?
I think so.
It
It was
might have
one
been
of the last
first,
ones.
wasn't it?
No, it was one of the
One
last
of the
ones.
last ones?
I think the first one was Jason Mack, if I'm not mistaken.
I know I've listened to a couple of them
Okay.
at least. Nice.
So-
Now that I think about it, yeah, I think you're right.
This is really going to mess people up now because normally we're staring at the screen. Now we're actually looking at each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
You know,
And there's no point in me even looking at my screen.
it's coming back slowly.
It'll catch up by the time we're done.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that one's getting changed.
So yeah, just wow. Like how many? It's been what? We're coming up or 6.5 years.
Oh, good Lord. You know what? I'm going to find out.
Well, 350, 50 weeks in a year, 7 years.
We are going to find out for sure. I'm actually going to go into our account and find out when the first episode was published.
I'm going to try and beat you to it.
Are you?
The math says 7 years.
Oh, page 41. June 18th, 2013.
So we are over 7 years.
Over 7 years.
Wow.
And Sid is calling me. I will get that call after.
Sorry, Sid. He's ours right now.
Yep. I am at the madhouse mode.
I don't care how big you are and that you could break me in half.
September,
Like
October, November. Oh my God.
I'm just saying that because he can't come into the country.
exactly.
Almost 7.5 years.
Yep. It's
Jumping.
wow. Remember where the original Madhouse studio? Your
Yes.
place over, I don't know what street is that?
What was that, Duke?
Somewhere, yeah. Deep into
don't
the
know
east
that.
end of Chatham.
I don't
Yeah.
know that street.
Deep in the East End.
You gotta
It's-
go to the very end of King Street East.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the last street. It's like you don't get any further east end
Yeah.
than there.
Basically, it's Duke Street, and then it crosses Park
Park
Ave,
Street.
Park Street,
Park Street.
and it becomes Deggy Street.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's way out there.
It's
And it was a fold-out table that I put out every time we got together.
in a room half this size.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
which was my living room.
Yes. Yep. We had our first viewing review there. We watched The Crow.
Yes,
Nice.
man, there has been a lot going on here.
Yes. And it's evolved. That's what I really find fascinating is how the show has evolved over the years.
Yes,
You know, we've the format's changed numerous times, and I think that just, you know, you never know what to expect.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, we've been doing the top 10 thing. Obviously, of sometime we'll probably change it to something else again.
Yep.
You know, you're gonna run out of ideas eventually. So, oh,
It's cutting off at my chin, so I have to represent.
oh,
Yes, we've all got our
Yep.
shirts
The
on.
homework, the uniforms.
There. Yeah, see, now we got security cam footage of Jason. It's
Okay.
every 3 seconds and it's up to date. So we're good.
Yay.
My screen seems to be moving pretty good.
Yes. See, Hopefully,
It just woke up.
yes. It's got a lot less processing going on now, so it's like, okay, no problem.
I didn't open anything else.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I only opened Google. You can't handle Google?
Nope. Computer says, no way. You're not paying me enough to do Google.
This computer was probably out before Google was even a thing.
Maybe. I think Abraham Lincoln used it.
Oh.
He wrote the Gettysburg Address on that computer. Right? All right. Our topic today, top 10 Sean Connery movies for an icon.
Suck it, Trebek.
I watched
watched
so
that.
many of those. I watched. There's a few different compilations of that stuff, and it's just. A lot of people pointed out that Sean Connery, the real Sean Connery, passed away. How many? Like 3 days before Alex Trebek.
Yeah, it was a meme on Facebook saying when you're oh, what is it? When your superior or something beats you, when your idol beats you to the pearly gates, and it's suck it, Trebek.
Just but you're right. He is an icon. He is. I don't know what that
And
is.
he
And
was-
I don't want to touch nothing.
In his 90s. Was he 90 or 90 something?
90.
90.
It was 90 even.
Yep. From what I understand, yes.
Because he hadn't acted in like
Oh.
15, 16 years.
His last full actual movie was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
He's done some voiceover work. He did. I think he did a cartoon voice or something in like 2013.
Yeah, and
I've never even heard of it.
It's
so.
not. I don't think it's ever surfaced. And he did the voice for the 007 video game.
Yes. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
a video game voice, and he narrated, I think, a documentary or something at some point too.
Yeah.
But for his last full-on acting gig was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was 2003.
Nice.
Well, we're going to jump in here, number 10, because Ballin's already commented, so he'll be our guest today.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
His number 10 for Sean Connery is Family Business with Matthew Broderick and Dustin Hoffman.
I saw that years and years and years ago.
Know that one.
That's a fun one. You know, it did not make my list, but it was definitely on my list of films to add to this list.
I saw it when I was
recognize
young.
that title.
I don't remember. It's a family of criminals, basically 3 generations of criminals.
Okay.
I don't remember hardly. I don't remember enjoying it, but I can't fairly say I remember hardly any of it.
It's one of those fun movies where you watch it and go, that was nice. I'll never watch it again. Because I never have, you know, just that first watching. But I did enjoy myself.
Cool.
So,
Like, okay, and I mentioned this before we went on the air. This list is completely 100% arbitrary. There is no such thing as a bad Sean Connery role. Okay, some of the movies may be a little questionable, but he's always shined in every.
Highlander 2, I would question.
I think he did great with what he had to work with.
To me, he was there for the paycheck, and he knew it, and that's what he did.
He might have been there for the
I'm
paycheck, but
playing
he
a
was there
character
because
who's dead. All right, give me the check.
he may have been there for the paycheck, but he was there because Christopher Lambert was adamant that they could not do a sequel without him.
You know, never mind, his character's dead.
Yes,
It's all right.
but we don't talk about that sequel.
Still looked like Michael Ironside was having a great time in that movie.
Oh, probably.
He's happy to be part of the franchise.
Yeah.
Okay, I do apologize. Give me 1 second.
Uh-oh. I will mute your mic. Oh, he's even FaceTiming. This is so cool. And see, he's supposed to go up next, but we'll go you, James. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Finding Forrester.
Really?
Yeah. I do like the movie. Well, like Jason said, there's really no wrong largely no wrong answers here. And I thought it was a good movie. I still cringe at the "you're the man now, dog" line, but I do like the parallels they draw between his character and J.D. Salinger, where he's the reclusive author who basically wrote one book. It was a massive success, and he retreated from public life forever. But I like his whole how he discovers him, takes Rob, I think it's Rob Brown, under his wing, and especially the end saying like, I'm what's his name? Something Forrester?
I
Something
don't know.
Forrester, whatever.
That's one that I've never watched.
Where he shows himself and he's like, you get F. Murray Abraham as the professor there. He's like, I'm that one there. And he points right to his portrait on the wall.
So he pulled a Hank Pym before Hank Pym did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your ID? It's right there. That big painting on the wall.
I liked Matt Damon's cameo at the end, but I thought Sean Connery did a good job in this one.
Yeah, that's one that I've always heard about. Never got around to watching.
I admit I've not watched it either.
It's worth a watch.
Anna Paquin's in it, and so's Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes is I don't know if he's the older brother of Rob Brown's character or an older kind of father figure kind of guy. Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's a good Gus Van Sant movie.
7.3 on IMDb. That's not sneezing at anything right there.
No, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, what do you got for number 10?
I cheated for number 10
You cheated.
because I'm not I can't say that I'm a hardcore Bond fan, so I just said any James Bond movie. That with Sean Connery. Okay, any of his Bond films. I've seen them all. I know I've watched them all, but I don't go back to Bond movies very often. I kind of get what I want out of them, and then I usually just don't go back.
Fair enough.
I will wholeheartedly admit that Connery defined that role, and he will always be James Bond to me.
Yes.
There have been other good ones, and Daniel Craig's not horrible, but they're different types of movies.
Yeah, he's a totally different Bond.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like Roger Moore was a totally different Bond.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the Bond I grew up with. I admittedly have only seen one Bond movie, Never Say Never Again. It's not on my list because I don't have a clear memory of it. But I grew up with Roger Moore. The one I go back to for Roger Moore is Octopussy. But aside from that, I'll go back to GoldenEye or all the Daniel Craig ones. I think, to me, Daniel Craig is the best Bond, but I've changed. It was Pierce Brosnan was great, but I grew up with Roger Moore. I didn't grow up with Sean Connery's Bond.
Neither did I, but I went back and because it was Roger Moore was Bond when I was starting to watch.
Yeah.
But I went back and watched all the Sean Connerys.
I did enjoy Never Say Never Again, where he shoots he's on the ground and the girl's got the gun on him, and he basically pulls out a pen. She laughs at him, so he shoots the pen into her stomach, kind of thing, and she's like, and then she explodes.
Yes. So then, just out of curiosity, which is your favorite George Lazenby Bond movie? All right,
there isn't one.
I also haven't. I also haven't seen that one. I started.
I don't think
watching
I
it.
have that. Yeah, honestly,
Really?
that's probably the only one I've never seen was George Lazenby.
And that's my favorite intro of all the Bond movies.
Oh, really?
Isn't that where
yeah.
like this didn't happen to the other guy?
Exactly. You know, he gets there, he saves the girl, and he's going up to her, and then she leaves.
I went back to revisit it, and I didn't get far into it, but because doesn't he sleep with like 4 different women in that movie?
Probably.
He sleeps with all the women all
Yep.
the time. That's kind of the gimmick.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's usually one Bond girl, maybe 2, but it's like 3 or 4 in that movie.
Got to get stuff done.
It's those Aussies.
My number 10 from 1977, which is my favorite year. It's not the year I was born. Star Wars. It's A Bridge Too Far.
Haven't seen it.
That was one that my grandfather showed me, and I love it for that nostalgia. You know, since my grandfather's passed, we never get to watch it anymore. But also because of the story, like it's a World War II story.
Mhm.
That's my grandfather was diehard about it.
I'm
Okay.
sure I know I watched it once when I was much younger. I think I probably watched it with my dad on a Saturday afternoon or something. But it didn't stick with me.
I know the title, but that's it.
Oh yeah. This one, like I said, I've watched it at least a dozen times. I gotta admit, I really haven't watched it since my grandfather's passing, and that was 96. Crap, I think I need to owe it. I owe it a watch. But it had Gene Hackman, Ryan O'Neill's in it, you know, and there wasn't a lot of Ryan O'Neill movies I watched. But
I only know the name. I've heard that name many times.
He's most well known for Love Story.
Yeah, see, no. I don't know the guy.
Oh, there is something truly special about Connery's Bond. But yes, I still picture Pierce as the quintessential James Bond. I have to agree with Jeffrey on that. When I hear the name James Bond, I always go back to Pierce.
Connery will always be Bond.
Yes.
Okay. I can't go, but he's not the one. I will admit that when I say I don't go back to Bond movies, I have gone back to a couple of the Pierce Brosnan ones.
Like
But then again,
GoldenEye.
I was also
GoldenEye.
at
You,
that.
you got to go back to GoldenEye.
That was of course like that was my heyday of my teenage years and whatnot. So yeah, they would have they cranked up the adrenaline level. You know, the fun factor was a little higher. So
And
yeah,
it's also widely
absolutely.
regarded as the best N64 game.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Right. I played the snot out of that game.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best Bond villains and movie villains, Sean Bean.
Yes.
One of the many films he dies in.
Yep.
Yes. and gets a satellite dropped on him, I think.
A whole dish.
A
Yep.
whole dish. Yeah.
Yes, the whole dish fell on him. Yes.
Yep.
I don't think he's coming back from that one.
No. I think he's dead, Jim. Number 9. Ballin has got my number 9 Sean Connery film is The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I do like that movie. That's my number 5.
That's your number 5.
That's my number 5.
That is my number 7.
Really?
I know it's a comic book movie, but I never read the comic.
I enjoyed it a lot.
But and knowing the history, knowing that was Connery's last film, and that's why they never did any sequels. That upsets me a little bit because there was so much potential,
Especially
for where they could have went with that.
Especially for sad for Stephen Norrington, the guy who directed it, because he was the guy who started Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Such a talented guy and sculptor, visual artist, and that stopped him. He hasn't directed since.
And I was reading. I was looking over a few things, and I saw like somebody's review of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and at one point they pointed out that the Hyde CGI. This was at the same time as Hulk.
Yeah.
And the Hyde CGI was leaps and bounds better than Ang Lee's Hulk.
It was pretty great. Yeah. Okay. No, okay. Your term is better. The Hyde CGI. I was gonna try and think like the way that the Hyde and the not Hyde clones, because they steal the technology,
Right.
And the bad guys get
that
it
one
too.
guy, and he not the whole thing. He drinks
Yeah.
the whole bottle.
Oh man,
And he's like massive, but then as he's getting crushed, as that villain is getting crushed when the whole building's falling on top of him, it still looked great. Like
It definitely holds up.
I will say, in terms of that character Hyde, I did enjoy the one who's briefly in Van Helsing better, but he's a very tiny part of the movie.
I hardly remember anything from Van Helsing. So
Fair enough.
But
Stuart Townsend as Dorian Gray.
That was
the
good.
whole cast was great, but Connery, like Quartermain, was just perfect. for him.
Yeah.
And I'd only ever seen Richard Chamberlain play that role.
Same
Yep.
here.
So it's a very underused role, but I think that's because there's too many similarities to Indiana Jones.
There were characters.
Yeah.
There were characters that they
So-
had to change because they did. I think they didn't have the rights to them or something. Even though in the comics they were part of the LXG, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, they had to change some of them for this movie.
That I believe.
Was
there's
any of this
also-
connected to like Universal at all? I don't know who made it. Just knowing that how they're trying hard to get the Universal Dark Universe, that whole thing with the classic Universal monsters and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there could have been a connection where that could have bled together.
They should have had that as the kickoff for the Dark
Hang on.
Universe.
if they're connected. I don't know if they are in any way.
Hang
so
on, I got it.
I got to throw this up here. Greg says, "Hey everyone, hope everyone is having a great day. Note: best N64 game is No Mercy,
It's a WWF.
and it is damn good.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was Fox.
Oh, okay.
That might be why.
Interesting. I think it's No Mercy. The company that made that, using a similar engine, is developing a video game for AEW wrestling.
Yes,
I
that
would
is the
disagree.
one.
I would disagree with Greg on No Mercy. I would put it as a tie between WCW NWO Revenge and WWF WrestleMania 2000, because there was 4 games that used that engine.
Yeah,
WCW
2000 was
NWO
just
World
phenomenal.
Tour, WCW NWO Revenge was awesome. WrestleMania 2000 was awesome. Just different faction. And then No Mercy was good, but it had the story you used in it was like you had to go, if you lost this match, you went up this tree. If you won this match, you went up this tree. So you were just doing that to unlock people, not to. But none of them are bad. All of them are great games.
True. Martin Bates says Pierce was good for rewatching, but Daniel Craig in Casinos Royale for me. That dinner jacket.
That opening scene in Casino Royale is just badass.
Yeah, and then Greg even says, "I agree, Martin. Casino Royale was amazing."
Yes, it was. Not my favorite,
and it's neat because the first one out of the gate seems to always be the person's best. You know, Pierce Brosnan, GoldenEye, Casino Royale. You know, Dr. No.
Yeah. That does seem to be the case, but although I really can't say for sure.
Again, at
Dalton's not as invested.
At Timothy Dalton's to Living Daylights is more entertaining.
Oh yeah, and more actual, to reality. Jeffrey says here, No Mercy was far superior to me.
Now we got to debate about N64 wrestling games,
right? All of them are great games. All 4 of them are great games.
We'll go with that one. So, Jason, number 9.
Number 9 from 1992, Medicine Man.
Oh, yes.
I rewatched that movie so many times when it came out. It just stuck with me. I love the concept. Though, like, I found the cure for the plague of the 20th century and I lost it.
Oh, that's the trailer. The trailer quote. Something about the ants in the sugar, and
it ended up being not the plant but the ants.
Yes, I just didn't.
Spoilers.
The movie just didn't stick with me. I did enjoy Is that the one where he has that little cable system where he takes her on like a tour of the jungle kind of thing?
So.
Yep,
I think so. Yeah.
It's been so long since I watched it, but I do remember it didn't stick with me.
Oh, and one thing that has always stuck with me from that is like a year or two after Medicine Man, Hackers came out. And at one point, Lorraine Bracco, who's the head of that company, when they're being attacked, and somebody says, "Yeah, this virus is spreading like a cancer," and she clearly like, "Cancer? She's dealing with cancer again."
Nice little callback.
Interesting.
All right, James, what do you got for number 9?
My number 9 is Dragonheart.
1996.
96. That's my number 8.
That's my number 9.
We're gonna have a lot of crossover here. Obviously.
Yeah. I just thought he such a great vocal performance.
Oh, big time. He fit that dragon.
You could see him in the dragon.
Yeah.
That I don't know if they did mocap for him.
96, I don't believe they did.
Really, like, you heard his voice, but you could see his face.
I'd have to go back to that because I know you can see Benedict Cumberbatch's likeness in Smog.
Yes.
But they did do motion capture for him.
Right.
I'd have to go back and watch Dragonheart.
I highly doubt they did for Connery at that point. That's I don't know if the technology was fully there to do facial mocap like that.
Yeah. I remember I saw that with my buddy Bevan, and for the longest time I was going like where he comes up on the goats and he's just hello there.
It's just that performance, like he made the dragon like a lovable character.
I am the last. I never saw any sequels.
There was a sequel.
I think there was.
Let's not talk about that.
I think there was more than one sequel, but who did they get to voice that?
I can't even remember.
Doesn't matter. Never existed. It's like Highlander 2. Never happened.
Exactly.
There you go.
What? Huh? What?
Right? So my number 9, Dragonheart. Number 8, Jason's number 9 or number 8, Dragonheart.
All right.
Colin, we need your answer here. What's your number 8? Jump ahead though. James, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Hunt for Red October.
Ooh. That's
my number 7.
One I haven't watched in a long time, and I will say that in terms of nuclear submarine movies, I do prefer Crimson Tide, but Alec Baldwin and Sean Connery, how do you really go wrong?
And that is the first Jack Ryan film.
That is the first
Jack Ryan film. And and I remember having this pointed out to me. I didn't realize it when I watched it because you're young and you don't clue into these things. They do a thing where, well, the Americans are speaking English, the Russians are speaking Russian, and at some point, without any reference, somebody says something and they're speaking in English. Connery and them are speaking Russian, and then somebody asks a question and Connery responds in English, and they never speak Russian again for the rest of the movie. They just now we're all speaking English.
Yep.
Interesting.
It's
because they were preparing for that.
The only other time I saw something like it was in Valkyrie with Tom Cruise, where he's reading a letter or something in English, and you hear German in the background, and the German they overlap the sounds where you hear German and you hear English, and slowly the German drops out and the English comes up, and then you don't hear German for the rest of the movie. So it's a different way to transition, but it is an interesting way without telling you that you don't need subtitles anymore.
See, they did it at the beginning of Red October because they have him on the con and he's talking in Russian and the camera zooms in on his mouth, and then all of a sudden he starts talking English and then it backs out.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, they don't talk Russian.
They did the same thing in the movie 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas.
Oh, that's right.
He's there, but he doesn't understand their language, but he gets thrust into going on this quest with them. So he's just sitting there observing them one night as they're talking. And it's probably more than one night.
And
all of a sudden he responds to them.
The camera's right here.
Yeah.
And it's shooting from the mouth, from the nose down.
Yeah.
And he's picking up their language.
And he's like, because they're like, blah, 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 horses, blah, 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 my wife.
How did you learn our language? I listened. Tony Banderas is awesome.
Well, Ballin's number 8 is actually my 10 and a half because it is my favorite Sean Connery cameo.
Okay.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
I totally forgot he was in that.
No, that was on a list at one point. Yep. I'm just like, it's too small.
Yeah, he is right at the end.
I forgot that.
Brilliant.
Well, it's just like Jean-Luc Picard, like Patrick Stewart showing up at the end of Men in Tights.
So yeah,
although better.
That is a good one. So James was Hunt for Red October. Mine from 1975, The Man Who Would Be King,
which I have not seen,
with Michael Caine. It's basically the Road to El Dorado in live action in 75.
The only reason I'm aware of that movie is because in all the Edgar Wright ones where they have Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, they do The Man Who Would Be Sean. They do them doing Michael Caine and Sean Connery in bonus features on each of the DVDs.
See, that's cool. But this one's based on a Rudyard Kipling short story.
Okay.
And these two people from the British Army are in India, and they kind of venture away because they're tired of the fighting, and they come across this area where they are treated like gods. And it is.
I have never seen it. I've heard of it, and I had the chance to watch it because it was on one of the movie channels like just a couple days.
It's a fun watch. It really, really is.
Oh.
Cool.
I should give it a chance. Give it a check.
Absolutely.
Give it a good honest watch.
There you go. He did it to himself.
To himself.
That's the first on the show.
Wow.
Episode 350, and someone finally did it to themselves.
It's bound to happen.
First.
Right? On to number 7.
All these push-ups, and this is what comes out of it.
Right?
Yeah, it's getting the blood flowing to the brain.
Yes.
There you go.
So number 7, Ballin. Oh, there he is. Highlander.
Nice.
That's a good choice.
That's
your number 1?
That's going to be my number 1. I'm going to hold off on talking about it until we get there.
Did not make my list.
I do want to point something out because my number 7 is Hunt for Red October. And something hit me because at one point, the stealth sub, somebody figures out how to actually detect them. I tried to look it up to find out how.
Oh.
Because
the whisper drive, isn't it?
Yeah. But how did they determine how were they able to actually start detecting
the absence of something?
No. They could hear this weird noise. And
that's right.
It was the spiral that was pushing the water through.
Okay.
It didn't sound like people thought it was whales.
So they drop out the other noise.
Yep.
And they detected it.
And they could isolate it.
I was just curious if the movie Battleship, I had a thought, did they steal the same premise? Because they couldn't detect them on radar. They couldn't see the alien ships, but they used water displacement using
they did,
like weather buoys or something.
That's what
and
they
I'm
did.
like, is it the same? Did they steal the same gimmick?
They did.
I don't know that they referenced that in the behind the scenes. I never listened to the commentary, but it's not impossible.
I haven't been able to find out for sure what it was. You're saying it was the sound though, so it's not the same. But
it's similar. Yeah. So yeah, You Were Hunt for October. James is The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and mine.
Yeah. No.
Your number
This-
7.
Number 7. I haven't done my 7 yet.
No, but didn't
Oh,
you?
I did say it. Yes. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Yeah. My number 6 is an actual Bond film.
7.
It's
You're still on
7. That's what I meant. I see a 6 and I have to say 6.
Lucky number 7.
Right, is From Russia with Love. I think that is my favorite Bond film for Sean Connery.
I think that's one of his favorite too.
If I'm not mistaken, yes.
I was reading trivia. I have not seen it.
So you got to refresh my memory. Who's the villain in that?
Spectre.
It is Spectre?
Yeah.
There's this Russian dude.
It's the second
And-
Bond film.
What?
Yep. And
Spoilers.
A lot of shooting and a lot of sex and spy stuff,
Okay.
gadgets.
Gadgets.
All right. All right.
Some dude named Q.
Yep. And then, I guess we can jump into Ballin's number 6 because he's right there too. Dr. No.
Oh,
Also haven't seen.
that's
gotta-
the very
I got-
first one, right?
I gotta
That
watch
is
some
the first
Connery
one.
Bond movies.
So where does Odd Job come in?
Oh, he's Roger Moore.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger?
No, I thought he was Roger. No, that's Jaws I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
knew
yeah.
Jaws was Roger Moore.
The man with the golden gun.
I know he was in Goldfinger because I have seen parts of several Connery Bond movies, just not the entirety. So I know he was in because he whips his hat and breaks some chick's neck.
Mhm.
It's kind of brutal when you really think about it.
That's what he did.
I don't know if Odd Job was in more than one Bond movie though.
Yeah, he was in
Jaws-
one of the
Jaws
Daniel
was.
Craig ones.
Jaws was in Moonraker. Every time I think Moonraker, I think Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back, and I think Moonraper, the the parody movie.
Was Batista a new Odd Job?
Yep.
He was.
Kind
Okay.
of. Oh, I love that. That's my favorite of the Craig one, Spectre, but that's just me. I also think because of Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz crushes. And I will admit, I am anxious to see No Time to Die.
At some point.
I am anxious to see
Eventually.
it strictly for Rami Malek. Like you've already sold my ticket
He does
just for
sound
Rami Malek.
he does sound pretty creepy in the trailers.
I love Rami Malek
and
everything.
Christoph Waltz is
So
back
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am anxious for that movie.
as Blofeld. No, I'm not Blofeld. Yes,
Yeah,
he's Blofeld.
He was both.
So
Worst kept secret.
it says here, yeah, you're right. Goldfinger is the first appearance of Odd Job.
Okay.
Random task. Who throws a shoe? Honestly,
Yep. Like, what's that from?
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers.
That's right. That's right. Random task. I like that. Okay, number 6 is what we're on.
Yes.
Yes.
So Ballin said
So Ballin did
Dr.
his.
No.
Yes. Jason says.
1993's Rising Sun.
Oh,
Very
that is my number 4.
What really stood out for that movie, Connery is great, of course, but it delves so much into Japanese culture, but in like the Japanese business culture.
Well, not
And
only
that fascinated me.
not only that, it's the Japanese culture that exists in its own little bubble in the U.S.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, you're in the U.S., but you're operating under our rules while you're in this building.
Yeah, it's just it was fascinating to me. I watched that so many times back in the day, like on pretty much on repeat for like
That was one of the ones that
couple
got
weeks.
me into reading a bunch of Michael Crichton novels.
Yeah, I read the novel too. Yeah.
But the thing that always stands out in that movie is you get Sean Connery speaking Japanese, and he's just like yelling at the guy, blah, 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 and don't you fuck with me.
That's
Yep.
Scottish.
And it had Tia Carrere, which is just a bonus.
Oh yeah.
I had such a thing for her back in the day.
I
I haven't seen her. She kind of dropped off the map.
Yeah.
She
Now
had
that you
a
mention
TV
it.
show for a while with
Relic Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah.
And she just kind of fell off, and I don't know why.
That is true.
She's certainly a highlight of Hollow Point.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, she was.
Point.
Yeah.
She was
It's
so hot,
upside
so
down.
hot in Wayne's World.
Oh, Wayne's World, I remember. Yes.
So,
I should look that.
But yeah, just absolutely loved Rising Sun. Having to do this list, I've got to revisit a few of these because it's been a long time since I've revisited a few of them.
Well, she's been working, just not in high-profile stuff.
No.
Hawaii Five-0, Family Guy,
Dollface,
Blue Bloods, all just one-offs.
So
Mickey and the
one-off
Roadster Racers.
TV, yeah. She's transitioned.
She did a
into
voice on Mickey.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
Auntie Olena. Stretch Armstrong in the Flex Fighters. She's
So,
Officer Santos.
at least she hasn't stopped working.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds like she's getting more voiceover work though.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, really.
It happens.
Well, James, what do you got for number 6?
Number 6, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Dude, that's my number 1.
I knew it
I'm
would
not
be.
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I
And
know.
it is my favorite out of the Indiana Jones movies, none of which I've watched in a very long time. The most recent I watched was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because I saw it in the theater, but I haven't revisited any of the other ones to my own detriment. But
I don't even have it on my list.
what? Really?
Raiders was the top for me, and Raiders is the only one that I've gone back to, and I've never watched Crystal Skulls. So,
Well, you're not missing anything there, but
I know
thought Crusade.
Oh, yeah.
it was good. I enjoyed it, but Raiders is the only one I've gone back to.
Those two,
Huh.
Sean and Harrison, together were
Absolutely.
just... And they're only 7 years apart or something like that. Like, they're not
Yeah, I know.
father and son.
That
you
was
know?
so weird. There's a
I thought it would be both of your number ones.
No, not for me. There's a YouTuber that I follow. My son got me hooked on. His name's Gus Johnson. Does a lot of really funny stuff, and he's got this recurring one. He's done it like 2 or 3 times now of Imbiamba Jones. It's basically he's dressed like Indiana Jones, but he's acting like a small child.
Oh,
Like he doesn't speak, and it's just his brother, whoever's holding the camera, is like, no, Imby, put that down, Imby, no, you're not hitting me with the whip, and silly stuff like that. Well, they did their version of Last Crusade where they brought in Imbiamba's dad, and it was Gus's dad doing it, and he's acting just like him.
Oh my! Okay, I'm gonna look that up.
It's pretty funny stuff.
Oh, here we go. Ballin says, "I broke my TV watching Crystal Skull."
I think I know somebody.
It's not
Kinda
that
similar.
bad. It's just it's like, George, why?
Now you look at it. Did he say he broke his TV watching it because he broke his TV because it was bad, or did he break his TV because he watched it so much?
Well, that's a follow-up question.
right.
That's
We need to know, Ballin. We need to know.
My guess is, because of the consensus I've heard about that film, he probably threw a remote or a brick at the TV.
It's not a great movie.
Or a monkey.
It's not worth wrecking your TV over.
A monkey?
That whole scene bugs me, and I love Indiana Jones.
I like how
There's a monkey involved?
When Shia LaBeouf is
I've
swinging
never
with the
watched
monkey.
it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No,
You've never
that's
seen it.
Isn't it that it's the don't they? It's not a monkey, but they do the.
It's a whole thing of monkeys.
Isn't it the Tarzan sound?
It's a whole thing of monkeys.
I do like how they
A barrel of
transitioned.
monkeys?
No, there's no barrel.
I do like how they changed the phrase from "jump the shark" to "nuke the fridge."
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. My number 6 is also one of my favorite Mark Harmon movies.
Oh, wait! I haven't seen this.
You haven't?
No, I've been always meaning to.
Harmon.
I know what you're talking about.
Here we go.
It's
The ending to Crystal Skull pissed me off. Yep, there we go. He
I
broke
know,
it.
I know what it is, but it's your choice. So
It
you have to
actually
say it.
is shown at the beginning of NCIS too.
What
If
is it?
you watch the intro, there is a shot of a cruiser going under the Golden Gate Bridge. That is from the Presidio.
The Presidio.
Okay.
I've
I
always
didn't know
meant
Mark
to see
Harmon
it.
was in that. Again, that's one that I never got around to.
He's the main cop. He's the
Okay,
cop that
yeah.
was an MP that left, and it was
Oh.
because of Sean Connery's character.
It's a buddy movie.
And Meg Ryan plays Sean Connery's daughter, who is Mark Harmon's love interest.
That I forgot about,
Yep,
but I do remember seeing.
Jeanette Goldstein's in it. She is the murder victim. She's the one who gets killed. That starts the whole thing.
She's the James Cameron staple, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just okay. Is it an action? Is it an action comedy?
It's a spy thriller, military thriller.
Actiony police.
okay. You made it sound like it was a buddy comedy for a second.
Well,
there.
it's
It's
No,
kind of because
no.
it's Connery and Harmon together.
It's
Okay.
it's a kind of a team up movie. It's a hard
okay.
it's a
All right.
hard category of films to name.
Because the Presidio is a military base and the murder happens on there, but they take off and get out into San Francisco, and Carmen's a cop. So now it's become a double jurisdiction.
Okay.
So they have to work together.
Yeah.
Is there a comedy to it at all?
I didn't mean to sound like a buddy comedy.
That's what
I meant to say like a buddy film, as in two guys teaming up.
Okay.
You get the odd line, but literally, yeah, no, it's
Okay,
more
it's a serious,
Yeah.
serious dramatic action, blah blah. Okay.
exactly.
Gotcha.
And that is one I strongly suggest people watch.
I've always heard.
I will give it a
so
good,
many-
honest watch.
Good man.
Yeah, there's
There
two
we
of us.
go.
I did it first.
Yep.
I'm following your lead.
That's a good rule.
I gotta do
Number
push-ups, too.
5. Here we go. Ballin's number 5, Murder on the Orient Express.
I only saw the remake.
I have not seen that, but I have heard he is good in it. But like we've said, it's a Sean Connery movie, so of course he's good in it.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
mean, Connery was even good in Zardoz.
wearing what he wore,
Yes.
and he still pulled off that character.
He was. The movie's freaking weird.
Have not seen it, but it's
I watched it once.
it's
That's all I needed.
It's one of those infamous bad movies.
Have you you ever heard of Cards Against Humanity?
Yes.
So I bought that, and I bought a few expansion packs, and one of them was a sci-fi fantasy pack.
Oh yeah.
And I open it up, and the very top card, it's the only, to my knowledge, unless they've done this in some other expansions, the very top card was just a picture of Sean Connery, like from Zardoz, like in the red. with the
Just
bit.
that's it.
That's it. There's no words. It's just that picture.
What do you do with that?
You just
Whatever you
somehow
want.
try to play it.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with the game, but I have heard about
It's
it.
hard to get it to fit, but I have made it work once. But they have that picture. It's just in there randomly. You just that one card.
That's awesome. Keep showing his shirt. Good man. Now we're on to number 5 with
Yes.
Ballin. And then Jason, you said yours was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yep.
I said Hunt for Red October. So James.
Mine is The Name of the Rose.
Oh, that's my number 3.
Excellent murder mystery taking place in a monastery. Sean Connery,
A very early Christian Slater.
Christian Slater, and oh damn, there was a touching tribute done by Ron Perlman for Sean Connery on Facebook.
Because Ron Perlman's in it.
'Cause
He
Ron
plays
Perlman's-
Salvatore.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yep. And F. Murray Abraham is in it. Like
As-
this,
It's
it is very underrated for what it is.
it is
And
it
that's
is-
probably why I never watched it.
no never.
It was I think when it came across my radar way back when, that's more of a drama film. I'm not
It was one of
interested.
those ones I had already seen, and we watched it in high school. And it's one of those ones where the teacher goes and closes the thing for the nudie parts, and then opens it back up when they're done. And
See, look what Mike Nada said.
yes, it's one of the top murder mysteries of film, and
All
it's
right.
back in medieval times. It's so good,
Hmm.
and oh man, I'm sorry, just going back to the Ron Perlman's thing about when Sean Connery died. It's because he was not a great part in the movie, not a big part in the movie, a great part in the movie, not a big one.
Yep.
But oh man, you have to watch The Name of the Rose.
We've-
And I remember we all had seen it before, and we watched it in class, and we're leaving, and the teacher's like, "Okay, your assignment is to figure out who is the Rose," and everyone said, like, "We know who it is," and we all started shouting out the names. It's like, okay, well, there goes your homework. Yes,
Why did the teacher think it was open to interpretation?
yeah. Apparently,
Nope.
no one was paying attention. You need to watch The Name of the Rose.
Yeah. Give it a good, honest watch.
Oh, okay.
I know y'all did it to yourselves. I'm doing it to him.
I've never gotten around to reading the book, but
There's a book.
yeah, it's based on a book by Umberto Eco.
I'm gonna have to give it a good, honest read. That's what I'm thinking.
big thick book.
That's
but
cute. You're gonna read.
Dude, I used to love to read until I
too.
got into film.
yeah,
Me too.
gotta watch The Name of the Rose. You will not be disappointed.
I'll try and squeeze it in at some point.
I do another podcast with a girl. Her name's Jamie, and that's her job. She is a book reviewer. So she's constantly reading. She goes, "What's the last book you read?" It was a Star Wars book.
My most recent one was the novel that Drive was based on.
No, that's not true, actually. No, I'm trying to think
Drive
of it.
is so much
I
better.
started reading The Witcher, that whole
Oh.
series of books.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm like 100 pages in. And literally, I started that 4 years ago. Okay, so
The last book, and I'm only halfway through it, was Amy Poehler's autobiography.
that could be interesting.
Yeah, sure.
But I never went back.
Number 4. Ballin's number 4, The Hunt for Red October.
We've already been over
We
that.
discussed that one. Yes, that is rewatchability. That one's got it.
It's definitely Connery at some of his most intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did mine.
Sam Neill, Tim Curry. You know, there's so many people in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did yours, Rising Sun. Mine was Highlander. So Jason.
1981's Time Bandits.
See, I don't have a clear enough memory of. I know he was in it, but I don't have a clear enough memory of his. I know he's
King Agamemnon.
Agamemnon,
And then he shows up at the very end as a fireman.
Right. It's been so long since I watched Time Bandits.
That's his name.
Agamemnon. That's from Troy.
No. He does play.
That's from Troy. I've seen the guy. He's trying to take over everything. You can't have everything,
We
Agamemnon.
watch him kill a minotaur.
He's the good Agamemnon.
Yes,
in
this
this
is the good
movie.
Agamemnon.
Okay.
He tries to adopt the kid.
Yeah, and that's, Time Bandits holds a very special place in my heart. It's one of the earliest films I can remember watching numerous times as a kid. That and Star Wars, like those
Yeah, I
two
remember
movies.
Time Bandits.
And then I discovered like Police Academy and Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds.
The
and,
fun stuff.
Yeah, but Time Bandits and Star Wars, that was my childhood, my youngest childhood. So Time Bandits really sticks with me, and I do revisit Time Bandits at least once a year.
I wish I did.
And Connery was perfect, but in my older years, I've grown to really dislike the bandits for dragging the kid away from that, because the kid had such a crap life back home.
It's like Gandalf just roping him into an adventure.
That's right.
Like,
Stupid wizard wants to do stuff.
like, damn it.
Go do it yourself.
The kid was going to have a great life, and they dragged him out of there. Pisses me off.
Because it's in the script.
Yeah, I know. But Connery was great as Agamemnon. He very fatherly, that very genuine in that. And then when you see him again at the end as the fireman, and right after the kid's parents explode, spoilers.
I didn't get to the
It's a very strange movie, but it is Terry Gilliam, so par for the course.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, was that Gilliam's first movie?
No. I want to say no, but
let's find out.
There's a question mark.
We will find out.
It's the first Gilliam movie I know I watched.
I'm willing to say early movie,
not including anything Monty Python.
Okay. One of his first may have been a Monty Python movie.
Okay, outside of Monty Python.
Time Bandits was in 1979. Before that was Jabberwocky, Miracle of Flight, Holy Grail, The Flying Circus.
So Jabberwocky.
Jabberwocky would have been his first
which I've never seen, but
Marty was a TV series. Broaden Your Mind was a TV series.
I passed up one chance to pick up Jabberwocky in a pawn shop. I've never seen it.
And in 1968, he was
Apparently
writing for Do Not Adjust Your Set.
That was I think it's sketch show.
BB.
Another sketch show.
Does a lot of British directing in the UK for not being from the UK.
He wasn't from the UK?
No, he's American.
Born in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's the one member of Monty Python who was American.
I had no idea. Wow.
I know that. Well, I know that, but I know that a lot from seeing a lot of behind the scenes interviews and stuff.
Okay.
You're just like, oh shit, he's not British.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
surprise.
Time Bandits just it is dated.
It's a time
in the particularly in the real world stuff, the beginning and the end, it's dated, but everything else still plays so well because you're messing with time.
For not having watched it a lot, I'd agree that it's a timeless movie in the vein of Labyrinth, Dark Crystal kind of thing.
Yep.
Princess Bride.
Yes.
Oh,
nice. Brought that in there.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, your number 4, James, was Rising Sun. Mine was Highlander. And this is pretty much me just stalling to see if Ballin's going to get his number 3 in there before I'm done talking. But it does not look like it.
Come on.
So
So I'll just move on to my number 3.
Yes, Jason,
Okay.
number 3.
My number 3 from 1996.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
The Rock.
Oh, that's my number 1.
Believe me, this top 3 changed so many times between these 3. Like all 3 of my number 3s, my top 3 were number 1 at some point in the last 2 days.
I think my top 4 were pretty solid.
Do you realize we're on number 3 and all of our number 1s have been listed already?
Yep.
Yours
I'm not
is
surprised.
Indy.
Highlander? No,
Indy.
Indiana Jones.
Mine's was Highlander,
and mine's The
which
Rock.
we haven't really discussed yet because I.
Yeah, no.
Well, no,
Highlander is
you
important to
haven't
me.
discussed much,
You-
but yeah.
You get your shot.
But The Rock, okay,
Yeah.
it's Connery getting to play in the Michael Bay sandbox,
Welcome to The Rock.
and with Nicolas Cage, who doesn't actually chew the scenery too much in this one.
No. Not
he's
that
a
one.
relatively normal
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is this might have been like one of the last films before he started going crazy with his
No. Well before, because he did this, he did Face Off, Gone 60 Seconds.
Con Air.
This was several years before he went over the top. Nick
Okay,
Cage.
all right. But I always felt The Rock. It's just him playing Bond.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's just him
Because
playing
he
Bond.
was a British SAS
A
agent.
British agent who was being held strictly because he would not give up that microfilm. That's the only reason they kept him locked up.
Oh man.
But he escaped from Alcatraz, so they needed him to get back in again.
And Michael Bay's second movie.
Really?
Only his second movie. First movie was Bad Boys. This was his second movie.
Oh.
And he got to direct Sean Connery.
And turned Nicolas Cage into an action star. He said so at the MTV Movie Awards. I turned this guy into an action star.
All right, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's what's not to love about The Rock though.
No.
It's Michael
Nothing.
Bay-rific.
Nothing. That's what.
It's just so much fun. And when they're driving that Hummer and just plowing through everything, that's the movie that made me want an H1 Hummer.
Right?
Like, I want one of those.
And one of the best openings to a movie with in the rain going to his wife's grave. Oh man.
Nice.
So good. An amazing soundtrack, which I still own.
Ballin's number 3 is The Untouchables. We'll come back to that because it's the only one of mine that's not been talked about.
Not on my list.
What?
Oh,
His one Oscar?
I've never been a fan of. I'd like to echo Johnny Lee Miller's line from Trainspotting. That means fuck all. It's a sympathy vote.
what?
I've never been a fan of The Untouchables. I don't think it's that good. Yeah,
He can reach you.
I told you this would happen. He's gonna reach over and punch me.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You're lucky I didn't find anything. I was gonna bring a weapon.
The swords are over there, and I will stop you before you get to them.
I didn't want to hurt you too bad. I was hoping my nephew had like a Nerf sword or something.
I don't want to put it in the vein of Jaws. I actually like Jaws.
Don't even.
No.
Don't.
In terms of like how much it's liked by everyone else, I just think it's pretty good. In terms of De Niro, Connery, Costner, the amount of somebody knocked out my mic.
There we go.
Hey,
But see,
Anyway.
see, even the computer objects to my opinions.
You can smack him.
actually, that's the Cobra.
Anyway. Oh my god! I just think it's a pretty good movie. It doesn't stand out for me.
I kind of like this because this is an exact copy of Steve-O's Hand. And I constantly tell him I'm alone with his hand.
I'm still not convinced that wasn't set up.
And it is in the right position.
Anyway, who talked about the Untouchables? Was it Balin?
Balin brought it up.
Okay.
Actually, I just found out something I did not realize.
There
was no sound. Okay. So now I know if that is not on, there's no sound coming through.
So even the internet has it out for me and my opinions.
Hey, yeah. You didn't miss anything important from James, I can assure you.
He's not the biggest fan of the Untouchables. Let's leave it at that.
And he brought up Jaws again.
Let's find out what his number 3
I like Jaws.
is.
Hey, here, I like Jaws more than the Untouchables. There you go.
That's a plus.
But it still makes Jason shake his head. All right, that was Balin's number 3.
Yes. Jason's number 3 is The Rock. James is number 3. Well, mine is The Name of the Rose. James is number 3.
My number 3 is a movie that neither of you guys have heard of. It's called Playing by Heart. And it's a big ensemble cast. It's sort of a romantic drama comedy. And it's a bunch of couples in this movie. And you've basically got Ellen Burstyn, Gillian Anderson. Hang on before this starts. Anthony Edwards, Angelina Jolie, Ryan Phillippe, Dennis Quaid, Patricia Clarkson. Jenna Rollins is the wife of Sean Connery in this.
Madeline Stowe, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. There's Jay Moore. Yeah.
When was this?
1998.
In this section of the movie, Jenna Rollins and Sean Connery play an older married couple, and he's just the husband. She has her own televised cooking show, but it comes up that he once had an affair or almost had an affair decades ago, like 30, 40 years ago in their relationship. And she starts holding it against him. And you get it flips around between Ryan Phillippe and Angelina Jolie and Gillian Anderson. And Jon Stewart's also in this movie.
Really?
They're a couple. And they all come together at the end. But his is just one segment of the movie. But he does such a great job, the back and forth between him and Jenna Rollins. So.
And see, this got a 7.0. I thought
so. This is a combination of I loved his performance in this, and I love this movie.
And that's one of the big things we look at here is rewatchability.
Yeah.
So I got to watch that one.
I should give that a chance.
It was another one that I found on
it's the
VH.
kind of movie that I know my wife does enjoy when I can actually get her to watch a movie because it sounds very similar in tone and style to Valentine's Day.
It's chock full of stars, and they're all on the poster. And that was one of the reasons that drew me to it when I was walking through the video store one day, and I said, "Oh, well, this looks good." Sean Connery and all these people in it, and it just ended up being a great movie.
Ballin says, "Nice movie, James. I'm a huge fan of Jenna Rollins."
Thank you.
Who's Jenna Rollins?
She's the actress in the movie.
She is.
I don't recognize the name though.
Hang on. She was the older version of Rachel McAdams in The Notebook. She's well known for being. Hang on.
I gotta admit, I don't recognize her.
She was married to John Cassavetes.
Oh, that guy.
I don't know her. I don't recognize her at all.
Oh, I'm certain that you do. She was in Skeleton Key. She was in The Notebook, Taking Lives. Playing by Heart, which I already mentioned. The Mighty Hope Floats.
Everything okay over there?
Oh yeah, just plugging in the laptop.
She's been around for a long time.
Nope, even Ballin said that. Married to John.
Yeah.
Gloria.
I don't recognize her. But
you haven't seen Taking Lives?
Oh, back when it first came out.
Okay. Well, she was,
and I usually didn't get past this certain scene.
Which was what?
Angelina Jolie and Ethan Hawke were together.
Okay, well, you see her prior to that.
Don't remember.
She's basically the. Okay, whatever. That was my number 3.
All right. And again, mine was Name of the Rose. So that puts us up to number 2.
Which I think he did answer
Yes,
already.
he did. Right there is Indiana Jones 3,
So,
The Last Crusade.
okay.
Yes.
I wonder if anyone else is going to mention my number 2.
Guess we'll find out.
Well, I know mine's not your number 2.
You don't.
Jaws.
1987.
You don't know that it's not my number 2.
I thought I was going to be safe from any references to Jaws today.
I thought so
because
too until he brought
Yeah.
it up.
I didn't mean it to spark.
Just looking for any reason to bring
No.
it up.
No. This I wasn't doing it to spark anything. It was a genuine analogy in that.
James is
Yeah.
like, is that the cut from the Jaws? I'll just jam my finger in it.
Oh, I have some salt. Let me rub it in there.
This will help, I swear.
Oh boy.
So my number 2 from 1987, The Untouchables,
Oh,
because it
Oh
Connery won a friggin' Oscar
yeah.
for a reason.
Mm,
I know I try not to put a lot of stock in the Oscars, but sometimes you just have to acknowledge greatness.
mm.
Okay, and he's fantastic in it. That iconic line.
He
They-
brings a gun, knife.
you-
You bring a gun.
gun.
He brings
You-
a gun. You bring a bat.
You
No,
they put one of yours in the hospital. You put one of theirs in the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
Yeah, it's all right.
here endeth the lesson.
And a few years ago, when my wife and I went to Chicago with some friends for a weekend, we took a train in, which brings you to Grand Central or Union Station, whatever it is. And there's the stairs.
And you push the baby carriage down the stairs.
I didn't have a baby carriage to push, but I went to get
Boy,
a
was
picture
that
on the
lady
stairs.
surprised when he grabbed hers.
I'm like, dear, this is the spot. This. So there's 2 big stairwells, one on the left, one on the right, right? So I'm over on the one side.
What are you doing?
I was trying to hang it there, but it's too heavy.
So we go to the set of stairs, and my wife's taking a picture. I'm like, this is the stairs from the Untouchables. She's about to take the picture, and the security guard comes over. Excuse me, what you doing? I'm like, I'm just getting a picture on these stairs from Untouchables. Oh, yeah. No, you want the other ones.
It's over there.
Ran over to the other side.
You're not the first.
Yeah, they should have a plaque or something.
I'm sure they do now.
This was only like 5 years ago.
Well, yeah, 5 years is a long time.
The guy went, Jason didn't know where it was. We got to put a sign up.
Yeah, I'm the catalyst.
Yep.
But,
That movie, there's so many quotes from that movie.
Mhm.
It's not the best Costner performance. Like, I'll give you that. You know, I've seen him do so much better, but he's playing Elliot Ness, which is a straight laced cop. So,
Yes.
you know, you got to give him what you give him. But Andy Garcia being in that movie as well.
Oh, he is in that movie.
De
Yes.
Niro.
De
Come
Niro.
on.
Yes, as Al Capone. Don't you shake your head over there. He did an amazing job. Enthusiasms, you know, and his whole baseball
Maybe I need to
analogy.
watch it. I've only watched it once.
I think it's time for a good, honest watch.
Ooh.
We're just firing that
Hey, but
around
yeah,
today.
a good, honest rewatch.
Rewatch. There we go.
Ah.
We coined the term.
Yeah. Trademark.
Trademark movie.
But yeah,
Madness.
it's my number 2 as well. The Untouchables.
really.
Yes. And
I
there's
here. I just thought the tops would be India, Last Crusade for everyone but me.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So now, the only unknown thing. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw up Ballin's number 1.
Oh,
It's The Rock.
of course it is. 'Cause
Right.
The Rock rules.
So now, literally, the only thing that nobody knows is James's number 2.
I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this yet.
Let's find out.
I'm surprised because it was not long after The Rock stars an equally amazing woman.
Oh my! You mean the movie that won the Razzie?
I no, this movie couldn't have won a Razzie because it's too awesome. Entrapment.
It won the Razzie.
Well, then they can suck it. Suck it, Tarbeck. The Entrapment is awesome.
What year was that?
90 something.
90 something.
It's not on my list for a reason.
What reason is that?
Because
Because the Untouchables is better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Suck it, Trebek. Oh, Entrapment is
1999.
awesome.
Yeah, doing this in person thing is not going to work. It's going to turn into Thunderdome.
I'm going to have to put that
whatever.
laptop on the other side of the
But
table.
there's no wrong answers in this one.
Obviously,
Except for that one.
Except for
we've proven that
one.
wrong now.
Oh man, how do you not like Entrapment? It's awesome.
I could be wrong here, but I would go out on a limb to say that Entrapment is arguably considered to be Connery's worst film.
I thought it was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No, I'm pretty sure Entrapment still takes the lead there.
I find that very hard to believe.
That movie was a massive bomb.
No, it wasn't.
It failed miserably.
Let me see.
He's looking for proof now.
It was only nominated for Razzies. It didn't win it.
Oh well,
I
it didn't
thought
win.
It did win. It probably should have. I'd like to know what it lost the Razzie to.
Ooh, well, I will tell you.
Oh, jeez.
Budget was $66 million. Box office $212.4 million.
Still a bomb.
Suck it, Trebek. The Razzies. Okay, it was nominated for Worst Actress, Catherine Zeta-Jones. The Razzies at 2000. That's not giving me a direct link to it. Whatever.
That one was not going to be anywhere near my list.
I did a quick search, worst
Interesting.
Connery movie, and it came up with A Good Man in Africa.
Never heard of it.
No. And that's probably why.
Okay.
Well, I would think most people would say League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or Highlander 2.
See,
I never heard anything bad about Entrapment, and I love the movie. It's cool.
Okay, I've watched Entrapment a couple times, but literally
You just
for Catherine Zeta-Jones.
for the scene where she like bends down through
That's
the
exactly why you watch it.
I'll give you that, but that wasn't enough to win
You
me
know.
over.
But that's literally why I watch porn. It's got that 10-minute segment. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I understand there.
Whatever. That's my number 2.
All right.
You poor man.
So we know my number 1 is Highlander.
Yep.
Okay. You have the podium.
The floor is yours.
Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez.
The big question
Yes,
is why?
Because the mythos that it created and Connery's swagger, even in the face of death,
I remember very little of him in
his
this
swagger was just exuded on that screen. And him and Christopher Lambert became really close filming it, hence why Lambert was adamant that they write him into the sequel.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's nice.
But Chris, he's dead. I don't care.
no, he's
No,
French.
and-
It's more like I don't care.
Well, he didn't even speak English when he
Yeah.
got the role for Highlander.
Oh yeah.
Lambert
Yeah.
did not speak English. He learned how to speak English
Apparently-
while preparing for that
Apparently,
film.
he also has a very poor eyesight.
Maybe now he's old.
Well, no, even then, because
I
there were
heard
some
that.
casualties with the swords and stuff.
I heard that. I actually heard that.
He's severely myopic.
James might have a point on that one.
But the mythos of that Highlander created, it still stands, even though haven't done well. The show did well.
Show did
Yes,
really
The
well.
show was fairly popular,
show was
even
great,
though I
and-
didn't get past the first season.
The spinoff was also good. In
That's what I've heard.
Highlander the Raven.
But it starts with that film, and the success of that film does rest a lot on Sean Connery. He's what drew the crowd in, and then the rest of
And-
the film held it.
And the Queen soundtrack.
The Queen
Yes.
soundtrack. Yes.
Yes,
They wrote half the songs for it after seeing a rough cut of the film.
exactly.
Oh, man. Something of magic.
It's a kind of
It's
magic.
a kind of
Kinda
magic.
Thank you.
Was written after they watched it, and Who Wants to Live Forever was actually written by Brian May in the cab just after they left. Like he was writing it as they left the
And
the
Princess
film.
of the Universe is the theme song for the TV show.
Yeah, I think they just kind of ham-fisted that one in there.
It's still great because it was in the movie.
That opening is iconic.
Yes.
But the It's a Kind of Magic album is the soundtrack to Highlander. Essentially,
Well, it's like the AC/DC album.
Back in Black.
No,
Or Who Made Who?
Who Made Who is the soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the like on in that out the It's a Kind of Magic album, they actually have a song called "The Prize."
Give me the prize.
Give me the prize.
With
Yeah.
with Kurt
Kurgan's-
quotes from the Kurgan.
Yep.
And
A little bit of
Connor, a little bit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mostly you hear Kurgan's one-offs.
Yeah.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Give me the prize.
But Highlander is probably the one Connery film I've watched the absolute most in my life.
I would have to agree.
I just so many times.
Mine's got to be The Rock.
Mine borders with Indy and The Last Crusade because I watch Indy a lot, but I watch Highlander a lot, especially the director's cut.
I want to say maybe I've seen the director's cut, but I'm not sure of any.
I don't think I ever did see
noticeable
the director's cut.
differences.
I've heard about it so much, but I'd never watched it.
Oh,
I mean, you got like the Renegade cut of Highlander 2, which eliminates the whole alien thing. But what changes in the Highlander 1 director's cut?
They add a lot more footage. Like
Yeah.
you get a lot more backstory before they get to to Scotland.
Yeah.
Like that opening in the movie that you see, there's actually 2 scenes before that in the director's cut.
I also know there's more with his caretaker.
Yep.
That woman, the older woman who's like his caretaker.
There's actually a
Right.
flashback from World War II when he first meets her.
Oh
He
yeah.
saved her in World War II.
I think she's in Highlander Endgame.
Because the line comes up in there, he's shot. And she's like, "You're shot. How are you alive?" He goes, "It's a kind of magic."
Ah, nice.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I cannot argue that point.
Nice.
But
I can argue entrapment all to hell, but I cannot argue Highlander.
Whatever. It's better than the Untouchables.
Yeah, this in-person thing is not going to work. Somebody getting hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah. Why is James in a cage? For his safety.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
James is in a cage for his safety.
If we're both still here for 400, we're gonna have to have like a cage match. Like
There we go.
we'll have a Thunderdome match.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm gonna
Episode
start.
400. Look for it in a year, folks.
I'm gonna start plotting. No, not even a year. It's only 50 episodes.
That'll be
Yeah.
either what
Just shy.
Mad Max themed,
Yeah,
or Mel Gibson themed, or
something like that. Yeah,
something.
There we go. I'll promote it already.
we're gonna build up the hype. An undercard.
Yep. We'll have this massive thing. Yes. All
Pay-per-view.
right. So there we go. That is our top 10 Sean Connery films.
May he rest in
Yeah.
peace. He will be missed.
Big time. Although, like we've obviously said here, he hasn't done a lot lately,
Right.
but that doesn't matter.
No,
No,
but
like that's-
because and he said numerous times he was enjoying retirement too much.
Yeah.
Like, who can blame the guy? He's
Yeah.
been acting since the 50s.
He had a good run.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're
50
safe in saying that.
50, almost 60 years. It's like, dude, I can take a break.
Yeah, like Connery is definitely on that list of icons.
It's a shame
sure.
that he went
Yeah.
out on a movie that caused a bit of not an uproar, but he didn't go out on a high note.
Did like Highlander or
Or The Rock.
yeah.
or the
Entrapment.
Untouchables. Yeah.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
But again, there are no bad roles for Connery, honestly. Like weaker films, sure, but he's always gold.
Yeah.
You're always going to be satisfied watching Sean
He
Connery.
puts his best foot forward.
Great show, fellas. Thanks, Paul. And yeah, we had fun with this one
Thank
just
you,
because
sir.
of who it was. You know, I think there isn't a person on the planet who can look at a Sean Connery movie and go, "Oh, that's my favorite." There's always
Yep.
a Sean Connery movie on somebody's list.
And like I said earlier, this list changed so much, so this list is very, very, very flexible for me.
Very fluid.
Depends on the
Yeah.
day.
Pretty much.
Because yeah,
Although Rock's got to be up there. I don't care whose list
it is in my top 3.
There you
It's in my
as,
top
as I
3.
said, top 3 would be up there. Yes.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's not on my list at all.
The fuck? Apologies.
What's wrong with you?
Apologies for the outburst, but the fuck?
It was okay.
I'm shaking my head at both of you now. You like entrapment? What?
It was okay.
Get out!
I watched it a couple times, but it's not. I don't rewatch it.
Where's that hand?
Hey.
Okay, whatever.
I gotta say, there's air bubbles on the fingertips, so it's ribbed.
Crumple up my list here.
Okay, now it's getting weird.
Now it's getting weird. All right.
How's The Rock not on?
How's entrapment on yours? On that note,
Yes. For another week at the Movie Madhouse, I am Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
And we will see you all later.
Bye, folks.
Toodles.
I say shut up! It's a man!